Headliner Nation, what is going on? NFL Week 1 kickoff just around the corner. It feels good, right? It feels good to finally be watching some real football on Sundays for the first time in quite some time. And we have so much to talk about, right? Start-sit questions. We've got guys that are questionable. We've got so much going on. We're going to be answering those in the chat for the next hour. Decided to jump on real quick and get this thing rolling. We took a lot of questions last night. Really great show last night. Appreciated everyone joining us and watching and being a part of that. And now it's time to roll. We've only got an hour before kickoff. Make sure you've got your lineup set. Make sure you've got your DFS contests in. All of that good stuff. It's time to roll, people. What are we going to see? Eckler or Duke Johnson in a half PPR? You know, I have to go with Duke Johnson today. I've been talking about Duke Johnson for a long time, for several weeks since the trade. I'm still going to roll with him today. Alvaro wants to know in a full PPR, Alshon or Sanders. 100% going with Sanders over Alshon for sure. Aiden wants to know Kupp or Josh Jacobs in a half PPR. Since it's a half PPR, I'll roll with Josh Jacobs. Probably going to get more volume. The one thing with Josh Jacobs, too, that I'm thinking now, after everything happened with Antonio Brown, after everything happened with Antonio Brown over the last 24 hours or so, my fly friend is back. If you watched the live stream last night, you know that a fly got into the house. I have not been able to capture him and get rid of him yet. But anyway, thinking about Josh Jacobs, now that Antonio Brown is done, then because of that, things are going to switch up a little bit. They're going to have to change the game plan probably, and because of that, they might rely on the run game a little bit more this week until they get things settled in. So definitely going with Josh Jacobs there, although I'm still not like diving in full 100% on him. Guys, just to let you know, I know last Thursday when we live streamed, we had a little bit of an issue. For some reason, we got cut off by YouTube. Have no idea why. Last night ended up going just fine. But we're going to keep an eye on it today. So if something happens and the live stream cuts out for some reason, just know that I'm going to stay in the chat and continue to answer as many questions as possible. I'm keeping an eye on it over here on this side. Things are looking good. But if anything happens at the last minute, it cuts out, just stay with me. I'll stay in the chat and I'll answer as many questions as possible. Weird Flex wants to know Kupp, Gordon, or Boyd in a full PPR. I'm going to go with Gordon. I definitely like his upside today. He can have a couple of big plays. That's all we really need from him. Seattle D or the Dallas D. I'm going to run with the Seattle D this week. Looking good against Cincinnati. Cincinnati having issues on the offensive line. Obviously, AJ Green still not available. Going with the Seattle defense this week. Daniel wants to know Damian Williams or Duke Johnson in a full PPR. Still going to go with Duke Johnson over Damian Williams, to be honest with you. LaShawn McCoy is active and dressed this week, so he will be out there. Jimmy Garoppolo or Jameis Winston. We are going to go with Jameis Winston. Daniel, why did you say thanks tags? I don't get that. Are you watching the wrong live stream? Are you? Did I catch you? It's okay. Thanks for being here. Lamar Jackson or Cam Newton by Jack. Going to go Lamar Jackson. I've talked about him a lot this week as well. Lamar Jackson facing a Miami defense. They gave up the most rushing yards to quarterbacks last year. So, and they're a lot worse this year now. For flex and standard, Duke, Mack, or Westbrook, gonna go with Marlon Mack this week. Diggs with the hammy or Lockett. So I'm getting a lot of questions on Stephon Diggs, and I 100% get that. We know that, and I saw this on Twitter earlier. I believe it was Matthew Berry that posted it. I mentioned it last night, but I couldn't remember the exact number, but it was right about where I thought. So Stephon Diggs, in games in which he plays that he was questionable leading up to the week, he averages 9.7 points per game. So, do I think he's going to get some work today? Absolutely. I think he's going to be there, and I think he's going to get some work. I personally have a couple of lineups with Stephon Diggs. I'm going to keep him in. So, I'm still going to have him in there moving forward. However, if you've got a guy like Tyler Lockett that you can play over Diggs, then yes. So, in this case, Cornball, I'm going to go with Lockett over Diggs. Let me go back up here. Watkins or Moncrief? I'm gonna go with Moncrief. Just because I do think that Jacksonville defense is going to be very good. Really tough matchup week 1 for Patrick Mahomes. He'll get it done, but still going to be careful with it. Ernie wants to know Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. Anyone that's in the live stream right now that's watching, Lamar Jackson is my quarterback 3 this week. Quarterback 3. So he's going to go over most everybody at this point. Stevie wants to know Mike Williams, Calvin Ridley, or Mike Sanders. Mike's Sanders. Going to go with Calvin Ridley this week. I think that's going to be a high-scoring game. Diggs with the hammy or Josh Gordon? I'll go with Josh Gordon over Diggs. Thoughts on D.D. Westbrook? I like D.D. Westbrook. I do think D.D. Westbrook is in for a decent season. No issues with him playing him this week either if you need to. We'll go there. Good luck this week, Kyle. Thanks, man. Thanks for the advice as always. Can you dab on my fantasy opponents this week for good luck? Okay. Appreciate the $5 donation. Here we go. Ready? Boom. There you go. Got it. On your opponents for this week. Good luck. Dabbed right on them. We're ready to roll. Full PPR, Damian Williams or Austin Eckler. We are going to go with, oh man, that's a little bit of a tougher one for me. I mean, you drafted Damian Williams in probably the 2nd or 3rd round most likely. So you'd rather not put that type of guy on the bench right now. But I just, LaShawn McCoy is active. He is dressed this week. Darwin Thompson, I still believe, is going to have some type of role in this offense moving forward. So for this week, I would just go ahead and run Austin Eckler out there, knowing he's going to get a majority of the work in the backfield in terms of catches and some running work as well. I'll still roll with Eckler this week. When is AB playing? So AB is eligible to be on the roster tomorrow. So he'll be eligible for week 2. Brett wants to know Edelman, Lockett, or Ridley. We are going to run with Edelman. We're going to run with Edelman in this case. No Antonio Brown yet. We're still going to run with Edelman. High-scoring affair tonight. Tevin Coleman or Alshon Jeffrey in a full PPR from Tanner Watson. I'm going to go with Tevin Coleman. I mentioned it on the live stream last night. I don't foresee really any instance where I pick Alshon Jeffrey to be in my lineup this week. Or this year, actually, just because I think he's going to be a very volatile boomer bust type guy, and he's going to have to find the end zone. Just so many options there to receive the ball. Good for Carson Wentz. I think Carson Wentz will be just fine as a fantasy asset, but trying to get all of those weapons, enough targets, I just don't see it happening. Thoughts on David Montgomery? I've talked about him a lot as well. We're not going to overreact. It's just 1 week. If you bought the Fantasy Headliners draft guide, you know that we were very, very, very high on the Green Bay Packers defense. I think we had him in terms of our defensive rankings. I think we had him at 11 or 10. So we were very high on them being much better than they were last year. It was a tough matchup. It really was. Was he used correctly? No. Was Mike Davis used way too much? Yes. But the thing is that they're splitting Cohen out wide into the slot more often, which is good for David Montgomery because then you don't need to worry about Cohen in the backfield as much. They can do things with both of those guys. But trust me, there was one play in the first half where you saw David Montgomery. He took the ball to the left side. He gets to the line and there's nothing there. And out of nowhere, he just makes a cut to the left and he just shimmies through, breaks a couple of tackles, keeps his balance, and he goes and he ends up getting the first down. Those are the type of runs that Mike Davis can't make. He can't do that type of things. He can't make those plays. He can't create those holes. He can't stay on his feet the same way. David Montgomery's talent is going to win out. Let's give it a couple of weeks. Trust me, Matt Nagy, if he's a smart enough guy, he will know it. Jacob Batson wants to know highest scoring half PPR wide receiver, like the highest scoring wide receiver for the week. Oh boy, who do I have? I have Mike Evans really high. I think he's going to have a really, really good week this week. Let's check on my rankings real quick. Let me go grab those. Jake and I are both certified accuracy rankers over at Fantasy Pros, which is always nice. We get to compete in those competitions each year. Last year was the first year that we did that. It was a new experience, but we've adjusted what we do this year, and we're really looking forward to it. I've got DeAndre Hopkins, Michael Thomas, and then Mike Evans is my 1, 2, and 3 half PPR wide receivers this week. Njoku or Darren Waller. Zeta Bear appreciate the donation there. Njoku or Darren Waller. I am going to go with Darren Waller this week. So I've got Darren Waller over Njoku this week. Jacob, appreciate your donation as well, my man. Thank you very much. Just scrolling back up here. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Like I mentioned too, if you're watching the live stream, if you missed it last night, I have a fly in here. He made it into the house somehow. No idea where he came from. I tried tracking him down after the live show for quite a while last night. Couldn't get a hold of him. PPR flex option, Eckler, D Jackson, or Moore. If we're talking about DJ Moore, I actually like DJ Moore a lot this week. I think he's got really sneaky good value. But I'm still going to go with Austin Eckler because of the volume. The volume is there, but I like DJ Moore this week. Big Ben, Ryan wants to know Big Ben or Kirk Cousins in a standard leagues. Thanks for all the advice this week. Love the channel. Ben, thank you so much for supporting. I love the donation. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Thanks for watching more than anything and subscribing to the Fantasy Headliners. I'm going with Kirk Cousins this week. I do have Kirk Cousins just a tad bit higher than Big Ben just because I think both of them are going to be a shootout back and forth, but I just like Cousins' weapons more. That's all there is to it. There again, there's that fly. He's hanging out in here. We're going to get rid of him today, though. Don't worry. Even if we have to burn the house down, we are getting rid of that fly. Waller or Rudolph? We're going to go with Waller this week. Greetings from old Germany. What's going on across the pond? All about NFL football. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Standard QB, Wentz or Russell Wilson? Get this fly. I'm trying, man. We are going to go with Russell Wilson this week, though. We are going to go with Russell Wilson. Should Diggs be started? Again, lots of Stephon Diggs questions. I've got lineups that I am personally putting him in just because I don't really feel like I have that much better of an option to put in over him. I think one league I've got Traquan Smith that I could put in, and I really don't want to do that. I don't want to leave Diggs on the bench week one. It's only week one. I don't want to overreact to a bunch of things. We have plenty of time to come back. So even if we put Stephon Diggs in this week and he puts up a bomb, he puts up less than 10 points, whatever it may be. If you have a strong lineup around him, continue to roll with him. If you have a good, like I've had a couple of people ask, like, what about Tyler Lockett over him? Yeah, I'm going to go Tyler Lockett over him. Like if someone asked about Tyler Boyd, I'd have to think a little bit more about Tyler Boyd. I really don't love that, but that one would be a little bit close. If I just needed a safe play, I would probably go Tyler Boyd instead. So I'm still going to continue to put him out there as much as possible. Josh Lee, appreciate the donation, my man. Marvin Jones, Fuller, Watkins, or Josh Gordon in a full PPR. We are going to run Josh Gordon out there as much as we possibly can this year. Hines or Rojo. Hines or Rojo in a 16-league flex. I'm going to go with Nyheim Hines over Rojo because our saying here on the Fantasy Headliners is hashtag say no to Rojo or never Rojo, depending on who you are. So I'm still gonna go with Nyheim Hines this week. He's gonna be a good safety blanket. He's gonna be a good safety blanket for Jacoby Brissett. Can use him in the passing game quite a bit, especially if that offense isn't running on 100% at this point. Deshaun Jackson or Stephon Diggs. I'll still go Stephon Diggs over Deshaun Jackson. Sterling Shepard or Derrick Henry. I'm going to go Derrick Henry. A lot more potential volume there. Is Tevin Coleman worth playing? Yeah, but it's going to depend on who you have over him. Rocky Road Warrior wants to know Eckler, Landry, Breida, or Jones Jr. is a flex. I'll go with Eckler still there. Jay wants to know pick 2.5 PPR, Woods, Godwin, Josh Gordon. We are going to go, if we have to pick 2 there, I'm going to go with Godwin, and I'm going to go with Josh Gordon over Woods. Not that I don't like Robert Woods, just less competition for Josh Gordon. Marvin Jones, Gallup, or Jared Cook in a full PPR flex. I will, 99% of the time, I will never flex a tight end. Get it? Anyway, so 99% of the time, I'm not going to put a tight end in my flex position. In this case, even though Jared Cook still shows more potential for volume in this point, I'm going to run with Marvin Jones in this case with a chance to take it to the house and find some pay dirt this week. Damian Williams. Danny wants to know Damian Williams or Duke in a half PPR. Going to go with Duke. Chris, I see you out there. Appreciate the donation. I got DCD and missed your answer about McDonald or Waller. Sorry, can you answer again? No problem, my man. Thanks again for the donation. Sorry, you had to donate again to get the question answered. But I'm going with Vance McDonald this week. I've been so high on him all offseason long. I am going to continue to roll with him. DK Metcalf or McCole Hardman for the flex. Let's go with DK Metcalf because DK Metcalf could end up being the number 2 target this week. Chris Carson is going to see a ton of work, though, in that game. So hopefully things don't get out of hand in Cincinnati before, or is it in Seattle? I think it's in Cincinnati. My bad. I don't remember which one it is at, but it's Cincinnati and Seattle. But anyway, with that being said, DK Metcalf has the chance to be the number 2 target. Hardman's going to have to fight for targets behind Kelsey, behind Watkins, behind Hill. I'm going to run with DK Metcalf this week because just more potential opportunity. Fishing with Phil. Oh, it's just Kyle. No wonder YouTube didn't send out notifications. Man, come on. Come on. That's okay. Jake is spending some family time with his family right now. Hard-working guy. We do a lot of work during the week. But Sundays, I'm going to be, not every single Sunday will I be here. The main live show, again, though, every single Saturday night, Jake and I will be together. I might not be there next Saturday, though, because I might have a wedding I have to go to. Don't know for sure yet. So every single Saturday night, we're going to be right here on YouTube, 9 o'clock. So make sure you put that on your calendar, set your notifications, whatever it is. We're going to be there. That's the main show. That's where we break down everything. We let it flow, all of that good stuff. And then on Sundays, I'm going to try to do this as much as possible as I can on Sundays to be here to answer these questions. If we don't get to your question on Saturday night, make sure you jump back down here, and then we can do everything that we can for you. Let me see here. Just taking a look. Make sure I didn't miss any questions. Jonathan Nixon said, if you can spot my question below, please. Jonathan, my bad, man. I don't see where your question is at. I'll keep checking on it, though. Sterling Shepard or Robbie Anderson in a standard league, and I'm happy to donate. Love your guys' content. Chris, appreciate it very much, my man. Appreciate all of Headliner Nation. You guys make this possible for us, so thank you, everybody. Sterling Shepard or Robbie Anderson in a standard league. I'm going to run with Shepard this week. Robbie Anderson has a tough matchup. That Bills defense was no joke last year, and they're going to continue to be very, very good this year. So going to stay away from him. Murdoch, appreciate your donation as well. Moncrief or Justice Hill or Crowder or Latavius in a full PPR. In a full PPR, man, I really, really, really want to say Justice Hill here, but we just don't know what that timeshare is going to look like in the backfield yet for the Ravens. They've said it's going to be the hot hand, so we'll keep an eye on that. This is a really, really tough one, though, my man. This is really hard for me to go with. I want to say Justice Hill, but I think I'm going to play it safe, and I'm going to go with Moncrief instead. Zeta Bear Slayer, again, appreciate your donation, my man. I was offered a trade. I would receive Kittle and Miles Sanders, but have to give up Aaron Jones and Hunter Henry. Kittle and Sanders for Jones and Henry. I don't mind it, but I don't want to walk away from Aaron Jones yet at this point. So it's not a bad trade. I have Hunter Henry right. He's my tight end 4, and Kittle is my tight end 2. So they're basically the same person. So I personally would probably say no to that right now. Damien, appreciate your donation as well, my man. Landry or Godwin, Evans is my wide receiver 1. I understand why you would want to do Landry instead of Godwin because you have Evans there. I am still going to run with both of them this week. I will put Godwin in over Landry still. Jonathan Nixon, I know you donated, man, and I really appreciate it, but I don't see the question. There was no question in that, and I don't see another one. So let me know. DK Metcalf or Landry, going with Landry over DK Metcalf. John Brown, Miles Sanders, or Latavius Murray. Let's run with John Brown. Tons of touchdown potential every single week. Tyler Boyd or Christian Kirk. I'll go with Boyd over Kirk this week. Son wants to know I have Evans on flex in case he will be out. Then I can put in Emmanuel Sanders. No, that's not a bad idea. No, I don't mind that. Trying to be safe with your lineup, but he's going to play, it looks like, and he's going to be just fine. So I'm going to roll with him no matter what. Lockett or Coleman in a full PPR. We're running with Lockett. Shepard or Ito Smith or Hyde. Should I drop Geronimo Allison for the Patriots defense? Wait on Allison. I've been an MVS truther all offseason long, and I still think it's going to be him, but just wait on Allison for right now. And this week we're going to roll with Shepard. D.D. Westbrook or Diggs. I really want to keep I really want to keep Diggs in my lineup. I don't want to I don't want to sit him for DD Westbrook. But again, if you just need the points, if you need to play it safe, then go with DD Westbrook because you'll at least get an opportunity with him for more upside. Domain wants to know Duke, Jay, Amari Cooper, or Devonta Freeman in a full PPR. I'm going to go with Freeman. There was actually, let's see, there was, where did it come from? I got a notification on him just a little bit ago. It came through a notification a little bit ago on NFL Network. Falcons coach Dan Quinn told NFL Network running back Devonta Freeman came back way stronger than he's ever been and more violent in his cutting after core muscle surgery. He spent a lot of time in the weight room this year, or this offseason, of course, because he's been coming back from injury. So, yes, I'm going to be continuing to run him out there. LKB Pythons, appreciate your donation, my man. Graham, a waiver pickup? Yes, more than likely he will be. He will be featured probably, and it depends on his ownership percentage, but I'll take a look at that. But the Waiver Wire show drops every single Monday morning here on the Fantasy Headliners, so make sure that you check that out Monday morning. But more than likely, yes, I will be putting him in there. Do I think he continues this pace all season, though? No, I do not. So I know he had a really good week one. I know a lot of people are excited for him. I'm still going to be very careful with it, though. Thoughts on Curtis Samuel? I like Curtis Samuel this week. I've got absolutely nothing against him. I do like Curtis Samuel. I think he's in for a good year. I think every single week he can be a solid wide receiver 3 for you or flex play. I still think DJ Moore is going to be the main guy there, but we'll see what happens. Ryan, my man, appreciate your donation. Thanks again for the help. One more. Same standard league, flex spot, Eckler or John Brown. Headliners rule. Headliner Nation does rule, my man. Thank you so much, Ryan. I'm going to have to go with Eckler again. So Eckler over John Brown this week. I do like John Brown. Again, the upside is there, but when I'm looking at my flex spot, when I'm breaking it down, I look at volume. Who has the potential for the most volume? Because I want to maximize points. I'm going to have to go with Austin Eckler there. Willie Cheney, my man, appreciate your donation as well. Goff or Cousins, PPR. I love the show. Thanks so much, Willie. These two are literally like right next to each other for me this week. So let me just double check. Who do I have higher? Goff or Cousins? We're going to look at this here real quick. I just want to make sure I was right. They are literally right next to each other. I have Goff at 10 and Cousins at 11 this week in my ranking. So I got Goff right there. Thanks again, my man. Schumann. TJ, what's up, my man? You're always connecting with me on Twitter as well. Appreciate your support. Zeke or Duke in a full PPR. Diggs or Gordon in a half PPR. I will still run Zeke out there this week. We've been waiting all offseason. We haven't known what's going to happen. Now we know he's going to be out there. I'll still go with him, even if he's limited for some reason or another. And they've already said that we're only going to go with a certain amount of touches this week. He's still a solid running back, too. And that's if he gets 20 to 25 touches. He could still be a solid running back, too, for you, which is about where Duke would probably end up being anyway. So still go with Zeke. And Diggs or Gordon, I'll go with Gordon over Diggs. Dustin Espinoza, appreciate your donation as well, my man. Thanks so much. Jameis Winston or Kyler Murray, going with Winston this week. Quentin, appreciate your donation. Derrick Henry, Shepard, or Tyrell Williams is my flex. I will run with Derrick Henry. Again, volume. Lamar Jackson or Winston from Jason Martin. Thank you for the donation as well. Lamar Jackson, again, huge week coming up for this guy. Going back here, Lucas yells, Kyle, standard, Duke Johnson, Kenyon Drake, or T.Y. Hilton. Going with Duke Johnson. Lockett or Galladay in PPR flex. I'm going to go with Lockett. Freeman or Duke Johnson in a half PPR. I'm going to go with Freeman. Damian Williams or Tevin Coleman in a full. I'm going to go with Tevin Coleman. Tevin Coleman over Damian Williams. You're yelling Kyle again, Lucas. I already got you, man. That's okay, though. That's okay. John Brown or Calvin Ridley in a PPR. I'll go with John Brown. Mr. Muggs wants me to put the helmet on. It's not the same, though. I can't take Jake's thing. He's asked me several times if I want to let it flow, and I tell him that's his thing. I got to find something that's my thing. We'll do it. We'll figure something out as the season goes on. Cup or Diggs from Austin. I still want to put Diggs out there. If it's a PPR, then yes, I will look at Cup, but I'm still going to put Diggs. Again, I apologize if you're just tuning into the stream. There's a fly around me. Again, he showed up during the live show last night. No idea how he got into the house. But he's here, and I'm trying my best to deflect him. Trust, like I said, if I have to burn the house down later to get rid of the fly, that's what we're going to do. John wants to know Derrick Henry or Sterling Shepard in a full PPR. Again, running with that volume, going with Derrick Henry. LKB Pythons, another donation. Thank you so much, man. Tom, Drew, Pat, Russell, pick 2. This week, we are going to go with Pat, like Patrick Mahomes? 100% Patrick Mahomes, if that's who you mean. And then Russell Wilson will be my number 2. So Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson. Pick 2, half, Galladay, Lockett, Duke, Breida, and Pettis. I'm going to go with Lockett, and I will go with Duke. Diggs or Gordon, Kyler or Winston. That was the last question was from Chris. Chris, appreciate your donation. Charlie, appreciate your donation as well. Diggs or Gordon, Kyler or Winston. Going Gordon. A lot of Diggs or Gordon questions today. I've seen that a lot. Going with Gordon over Diggs, and going with Winston over Kyler Murray. Let me get back here to the normal chat as well and keep an eye on that. Going back and forth between the two people. Keep dropping your questions. Kyle is a legend. No, I'm just a normal guy. Winston or Goff, going with Winston. Dede or Will Fuller, I'll go with Dede. Marlon Mack, Fitz or Sterling Shepard for the flex. Marlon Mack. Austin Hooper or Darren Waller, going with Darren Waller. How does this lineup sound for a standard league? 2 QB, Winston, Dak, love it. Chubb, Carrion, awesome. Tyreek, Diggs, Josh Gordon, excellent. Darren Wallen, love it. Tyler, your lineup is looking solid. That looks like a dub for me today. Lockett or Dede in a 1 PPR, going Lockett. Chris Godwin or Damian Williams, Chris Godwin 100%. Westbrook or Godwin, going with Godwin. Duke Shepard or Watkins in a half PPR for flex, which one? Duke, going over those guys. Lockett or Dede in a 1 PPR. A lot of Lockett or Dede questions today as well. Going with Lockett. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where I'm getting nervous because when I did the live show by myself on Thursday, a half hour, it was like 40 minutes is where YouTube cut me off for some reason. And we're at 27 minutes right now. So knock on wood. I've got wood behind me. Knock on wood that it doesn't happen again. Come on, YouTube. Stay with me, people. Chris Godwin or Damian Williams. I'm going to go with Chris Godwin there. Slick Rides, appreciate your donation, my man. And a PPR flex, James White, Sammy Watkins, Rashad Penny, Dante Pettis. And a PPR flex, I will run with James White still this week. But if you didn't see me break it down, I talked about the New England offense moving forward in a video I did yesterday, right after the news broke, jumped in the studio, did a video on the offense. Make sure you check that out because I think James White has the most to lose from the Antonio Brown trade. Frank, appreciate your donation as well, my man. Ridley, Tyrell, Landry, pick 2. And Damian or Duke. Duke over Damian for sure. And I have to pick 2. I'm going to go with Tyrell. And if it's standard, 100% Ridley. If it's a PPR, I would not mind Landry. But Tyrell for sure out of those 2. Eric, appreciate your donation, my man. Wallen. I'm gonna assume that means Waller or Andrews. Josh Jacobs or James White. Waller over Andrews this week, and then Josh Jacobs over James White for me. Start 3, Woods, Dede, Hill, Godwin, and standard. That's going to be Hill and Godwin for me for sure. Anthony says, thank you guys, knock on wood if you're with me. Yeah, everybody on the chat, like knock on wood for me just to make sure that this thing stays live and YouTube doesn't come in here and try to take me off the air again. It must be because I'm too handsome, right? Too handsome for the camera. They couldn't handle it. Overload. I'm kidding, guys. Hold on. Questions are flying in now. Love it. If I have Julio, should I start Julio? Yes. Julio should not be out of your lineup. Emmanuel Sanders over Diggs. Gary, I would not. I couldn't sit Diggs for Emmanuel Sanders this week. I couldn't do it. And again, like I've said, this isn't just me like throwing that answer out. I have Stephon Diggs in a couple of leagues. He is in both lineups in those leagues. Duke or Coleman, I'm going to go with Duke. Justin, thank you for the donation, my man. Justin Jackson, Royce Freeman, Deion Lewis, Miles Sanders, and a half PPR. I really want to play Miles Sanders, but Jordan Howard is probably going to have a decent day today, and I don't see him just sitting on the bench. Deion Lewis, I'm just not trusting him. Royce Freeman, I think he's going to be splitting with Phillip Lindsay, but we don't know that yet. The one thing that we do know is Justin Jackson will see a majority of the carries. For the Chargers. I will roll with Justin Jackson this week. And the one thing, too, that I just want everyone to keep in mind, in week 1, I mean, we don't have a ton to go off of, right? When we get into week 2, 3, 4, 5, when we start moving, we've got stats that we can look at. We have trends that we can look at. We've got a lot of those good things. And I really feel like one of my best assets as a fantasy football owner and player and analyst is the ability to adapt. The one thing that I always tell people is that personally, with me, like, I would rather give up on a player and say, you know what, I was completely wrong about that. So that's one thing you'll always get from me. If I'm wrong about something, I'll 100% own it for you guys. And then I will move towards saying, hey, this is the way to go from now on. Hayden, appreciate your donation, my man. PPR pick 2, Robbie Anderson, James White, Watkins, or Latavius Murray. I'm going to go with White and Watkins. I'm staying away from Robbie Anderson this week. Really tough matchup. Jonathan Nixon, appreciate your donation, man. I know that there was a question from you said to look for. I couldn't find it. Hopkins, Allen, Cooks, Godwin, Westbrook, Michelle. In the flex, it says Westbrook 3. I don't know if you meant pick 3 for the flex. Hopkins is 100%. Like that. I'm Keenan Allen, Gooks, Godwin, Westbrook, Michelle in your flex. I mean, that all sounds legit there. If you need me to pick 3 out of Hopkins, Allen, Cooks, Godwin, Westbrook, apologize. I might be misunderstanding what the question actually is, but Hopkins and Allen for sure. And then it comes down to Cooks or Godwin. Probably going to roll with Godwin this week still. Lamar Jackson or Jared Goff. Michael, appreciate your donation. Yes, Lamar Jackson. We're continuing to roll with him. Hayden, no problem, my man. Thank you. Dak or Cam. I know you love Cam's matchup. I love Cam's matchup as well. I do have Cam a little bit higher than Dak this week, though, because that is a potential matchup to go back and forth a lot. Manny, Kyle helps. Screaming again out there, man. I see you in a standard. Rashad Penny or John Brown. 100% John Brown this week. Back down here. Avery, thank you for your donation, my man. Flex, Rashad Penny, Curtis Samuel, or Albert Wilson. You need 2 in PPR. Go with Samuel and Wilson. Wilson is cleared to play. He's ready to play. He's going to lead that team in targets this year. Will they be effective or efficient targets? That remains to be seen. We'll keep an eye on that. Brian Lawson, thank you for your donation. We need to flex Cooks, Eckler, or Cooper. I really want to pick Eckler here, again, because if I'm picking between a running back and a wide receiver to flex, I always want to try and go with as much volume as possible. However, man, it's tough. It's tough for me to pick anyone over Cooper because you can see him back there. Okay, Amari Cooper is hanging up, one of my favorite players. I'll probably go with Eckler here. I'll flex Eckler this week. Let's see what happens with that. Let me go back up here real quick. As many questions as I can get, guys. Continue to drop them. I'm going to be here hopefully again for another 27 minutes or so. Fist pump for the fantasy headliners. Yeah, get those fists up, people. Let's go. Thoughts on guys? I like him. Adrian Peterson is a healthy scratch. So we are investing in Darius Geis. And honestly, he was one of my favorite running backs in the draft last year. I have him. I have a lot of dynasty shares of Darius Geis. But redraft, I was really worried. There. Didn't love the offense this season. Offensive line, obviously having some issues. I just didn't invest in him very much in redraft, and I really wish I would have now. So if you've got Geis, he's got running back 2 potential just based on the volume he could see alone. Marlon Mack or Josh Gordon? I'm going to go with Marlon Mack in a full PPR. Let's get as much volume as possible into our lineups this week. And again, week 1, we don't have nearly the same amount of information to work off of, right? We haven't seen weeks. We haven't seen trends. All we have are reports out of training camp, preseason games. That's not enough. So let's get as much volume into our lineups as possible this week. Manny wants to know help in a flex, Eckler, Marvin Jones, Kupp, Edelman, or White in PPR. Let's put Edelman out there. Urgent is what is being said in the chat. Where'd it go? Oh, Godwin or Ingram in a PPR. Going to go with Godwin. Mike Williams or Ridley. I know Ingram will probably get the volume, but Godwin's upside this week is just insane. Mike Williams or Calvin Ridley. Going to run with Calvin Ridley. Rocky Road Warrior, appreciate your donation. Coleman, Hines, Henry, Justin Jackson is running back 2. I will run with Derrick Henry. Big season incoming, people. Really, really love him. Let it flow. I can't let it flow. It's not my thing. It's Jake's thing, people. I'd love to, but I'll come up with something. I'll figure it out. Calvin Ridley or Diggs. I'm still going to run with Diggs. Stephon Diggs versus T.Y. Hilton. That one I'll lean a little bit more towards T.Y. Hilton, but still I want to keep Stephon Diggs in my lineup unless there's somebody with a much better matchup that I can put in. Godwin or Shepard, going to go with Godwin. Mike Williams or Calvin Ridley, Calvin Ridley. Derrick Henry or Rashad Penny, Derrick Henry. D-Jax or T.Y. Hilton. I will go with T.Y. over D-Jax this week. Let me just make sure I'm caught up on the chat. LKB Pythons, again, thanks for your donation, my man. Randy Moss or Jerry Rice is still playing. I don't know how you could say no to Jerry Rice, but I love Randy Moss because when I first started playing fantasy football, Randy Moss was like the big thing. So he was one of the very first players that I ever remember drafting in a fantasy football league. So I'm gonna go with Randy Moss. Woods or DD in standard. I'll go with DD in standard. Woods is more of a PPR option for me. That question coming from Nikid Wainus, maybe? I'm definitely pronouncing that incorrectly. I'm so sorry, but thanks for your donation. Really appreciate it. Let's get back to the chat here and see what other questions we have rolling in. Breida or Geis? I will run... this is a GPP DraftKings question. In GPP, I'll go with Breida. I have some reasons why, but if you're in the chat, just really quick, if you are in the chat right now, if you're watching this live stream, if you are in to DraftKings, any kind of DFS, we have a DFS package this year here at the Fantasy Headliners, headed by my man Ryan O'Connell at Drafting King on Twitter. The dude is insane knowledgeable when it comes to DFS. The guy knows his stuff. $20 a month gets you access to our private chat. It gets you access to, I'm in it, Ryan's in it, Jake is in it. We talk DFS all week long. It gets you cheat sheets. It gets you game-by-game breakdowns. It gets you upside. It gets you downside. I mean, it gets you so much information. So if you are into DFS, hit us up on Patreon. There should be a link down, if you scroll down like in the comment or in the information section down below the video. You can find the Patreon page and you can go in there and sign up. Only $20 a month. And quite honestly, I made that on the very first night of the season. So don't worry, guys. I mean, if you're into DFS at all, you have to get signed up for that. MPLS Outdoors, thank you for your donation. Half PPR running back 2 and flex, Derrick Henry, Geis, Eckler, and Kupp. I will run with Henry and Eckler this week. Miles Sanders or DJ Moore and a half PPR from Jake B. Jake, appreciate your support as well, my man. Running with DJ Moore this week. Very, very big touchdown upside for him. I got him in a lot of DFS lineups this week. Is Mike Evans going to play? Yes, 100%. Sounds like it. Adam Rosen says I'm annoying. Well, Adam Rosen can go set in timeout. So Adam Rosen is now in timeout. So he gone. Everyone wave goodbye to Adam Rosen. Mixon, Fournette, or Eckler and a PPR pick 2. I will go with Fournette and Mixon in a PPR this week. Latavius Murray or John Brown at the flex. We're going to run with John Brown. Marvin Jones or Robbie Anderson at the flex. We're going to run with Marvin Jones. Big Mac or a quarter pounder? That's a good question. I prefer a quarter pounder. Who should I start? Metcalf or Anderson? Metcalf over Anderson. Wentz or Winston, going with Winston. Metcalf or Anderson, just answered that. Emmanuel Sanders or Landry in a standard. I will still go with Landry, even though it's not PPR. Marquise Goodwin or Sterling Shepard. I think Marquise Goodwin is a sneaky play, but he's got to score a touchdown for it to work, so I'm still going to go with Sterling Shepard. Help, Diggs or Will Fuller in a standard. Jose, I'm still going to run with Diggs. I know the upside isn't there because he's been limited, but I cannot take him out of my lineup week 1. Justin Jackson or Latavius Murray? Justin Jackson. Sony Michel or Duke? Going with Duke. Eli wants to know, Eli, appreciate your donation, my man. Thanks so much for the support. Sutton versus Oakland or Washington versus New England? I am going to go with Sutton versus Oakland because he has the better opportunity to be the main target there this week outside of Washington. Matt, appreciate your donation as well, my man. James White, Marlon Mack, or Marvin Jones in a full PPR. If I only have to pick one, it will be Mack. If I have to pick 2, I'll pick Mack and James White. TJ Hawkinson or Noah Fant, TJ Hawkinson. In a PPR, Diggs or Landry, still going to run with Diggs. Again, Diggs might not end up working out this week, people. I know that, but it's week 1. I can't not put Diggs in my lineup. You probably spent a 3rd or a 4th round pick on him. I know that he's been limited this week. I did see a video of him running. He looks to be okay. I'm still going to roll with him week 1. We have plenty of time to bounce back if he does not give us a good week this week. Again, I'm not just saying that. I personally have him in my own lineup, so I'm not doing anything that I would not do myself, or I'm not telling you anything that I wouldn't do myself. Joe, my man, I appreciate your donation. Half PPR, please help pick 3. Robert Woods, Mike Williams, Josh Gordon, D.D. Westbrook, Will Fuller. So in a half PPR, I need to pick 3. Josh Gordon for sure. I'm going to go with D.D. Westbrook and then Robert Woods. Godwin or Ertz at flex in a half PPR. Ertz is the safe play, but Godwin is the upside. So it depends. If you think, based on your matchup, that you're going to have to score a lot of points to win this week, then I'm going to go with Godwin. If you have a matchup that you feel like you can win and that you're okay with, we're going to roll with Ertz. Carlos, appreciate your donation, my man. Goff or Jackson, definitely go with Jackson. And T.Y. or Ridley, I'll still roll with T.Y. this week. Justin Jackson or Michael Gallup in a full PPR flex, I'll still run with Justin Jackson. Michael Gallup is going to be a boomer bust. He's got to have a touchdown this year to make his fantasy start viable. I like him. I like the potential. I'm not going to roll with it this week. Lockett or Johnson in the flex. If we're talking about Duke Johnson, I'll go with Duke Johnson. Growing back up here, Duke Johnson or Coleman, going with Duke Johnson. Lamar Jackson or Matt Ryan, going with Lamar Jackson. Jackson or Buffalo for defense, I will go with Buffalo's defense, sorry. DD or Lockett, I'm going to go with Lockett. Gordon or Lockett, going to go with Gordon. Cousins or Ryan, again, got those guys really close, but going to go with Ryan. Sutton, Shepard, or Kirk in a PPR, I'll go with Shepard. Matt Ryan or Lamar Jackson. Calvin Ridley, DJ Moore, Christian Kirk, Dante Pettis, half PPR, pick 2, DJ Moore, and I'll still go with Ridley this week. Ingram or Freeman in a PPR flex. We're going to go with Freeman 100%. Robert, I see you out there. I appreciate your donation, my man. Lockett or Johnson at the flex. Again, Duke Johnson, if that's who you're talking about. Loaf, 24 full. I'm not quite sure what that name is, but appreciate your donation. Thanks so much for your support. Brady or Jackson, definitely going with Lamar Jackson this week. You rock, Kyle. Thank you. I appreciate it, my man. Coleman or Kupp in a PPR. I'm going to go this week in a PPR. I'll roll with, let's go with Tevin Coleman still. Damian Williams or Duke Johnson. I'm still going to go with Duke Johnson. I just don't trust Damian Williams yet. Cooper Kupp or Josh Jacobs. Go with Josh Jacobs. Let's run with that volume. Baker or Kyler. Going to go with Baker. Need to Woods, T.Y., DJ Moore. In a half PPR, I'll go DJ Moore and I'll go Woods. Duke or Carson. Oh, definitely Carson this week. Carson is going to light it up. MSTG, again, thanks so much. One of our avid viewers. I see you all over the place in the comments, in the chat. Thanks so much for your donation. Please pick a second flex. Calvin Ridley, Jarvis Landry, Dante Pettis, Curtis Samuel, Justin Jackson. Thanks, sir. Appreciate all that you guys do. We appreciate all that you do, man. Second flex. This has got a lot of options here. If it's PPR, I'll run with Jarvis Landry, but if it's not, then I will run with Calvin Ridley this week. Short fat dude, appreciate your donation, man. Diggs, Gordon, or Boyd in standard. Gonna go with Gordon still. A lot of Gordon or Diggs questions. A lot of people must have both. Godwin or Eckler in a flex PPR. Gonna go with Godwin there. Godwin has so much upside this week. Hamburger helper. Appreciate your donation, my man. Thanks so much. Deshaun Jackson, Marvin Jones, Robbie Anderson for the flex. I'm gonna go with Marvin Jones over Deshaun Jackson this week. Sony Michel or DD in a PPR. I'll go with DD. Just look. I keep checking my phone too, just to make sure as we lead up to game time here that we're not missing anything. I'm just checking my notifications. Appreciate the work for all of my writers over at the Fantasy Headliners. They're helping to keep me updated. If anything breaks, they're messaging me to let me know so I can let all of you know on the live stream. Not seeing anything as of right now, though. Nothing new. Flash Gordon or Gallup, go with Gordon. Flex Marvin Jones or Telvin Coleman in a PPR. I'll still run with Tevin Coleman this week. Half PPR, pick 2, Jarvis Landry, Latavius Murray, Tyrell Williams, Jordan Howard, and a half PPR, definitely Jarvis Landry and Tyrell Williams for me. I should have brought water out here. I don't have any water. All I have is coffee. Ugh. Josh, tossing out a donation with no question. Josh, really appreciate that, my man. Thank you so much. Kyle says, invest in a tiny helmet so you can let it flow too. I have a couple of helmets behind me. So I could do the Michigan helmet, or I can do this helmet over here. So I could let it, because, I mean, even though they look like garbage yesterday, I mean, I could always let it flow with this on, but I don't know, maybe next week. I'll talk to Jake about it. That's his thing. I don't want to take a let it flow from him. What's better, a super big helmet or a tiny helmet? Flex, Gavin, I see you out there, my man. Flex Will Fuller or James White in a half PPR? James White. Let me see here real quick. Let me get caught up here in the chat. Let me just... Duke or James White in a PPR. Going to go with Duke Johnson still. Lockett, Boyd, or Drake. Going to go with Lockett. Should I gamble on playing Lamar Jackson with Mark Ingram instead of Russell Wilson? I don't have anything against stacking players, so I don't think that's a gamble at all. Lamar Jackson, again, is going to have a huge week. Put him in your lineup. Gurley or Bell? Definitely Gurley for me this week. Half PPR flex, Mac, Diggs, or Gordon. And a half PPR, I'm going to run with Mac still. Browns, Jets, or Bills defense? Man, probably the Bills there. Going to go with the Bills. Jameis or Cam, 6-point passing TDs. Jameis for sure then, because he definitely probably has the opportunity to toss the most touchdowns. Winston or Wilson, QB1, Winston for me. Saints or Cowboys. Man, I like that Cowboys defense. I'm going to go with the Cowboys. Cooks, Gordon, or Boyd in a PPR flex. Cooks, Gordon, or Boyd in a PPR flex. Going to go with Josh Gordon still. You are better than Jake. No, I'm not, Thomas. Don't say that. People will get very upset. I am not better than Jake, and Jake is awesome. But I appreciate it. I appreciate the kind words. Duke, Lindsey, Hines, Coleman. Did you say that just to butter me up so I'd answer your question? How dare you play into my emotions like that? Duke, Lindsey, Hines, Coleman, pick 2. Definitely Duke. My other one will be Lindsey. Henry or Eckler, running back, 2 standard league. I'm going to go with Henry. Jordan Howard or Marlon Mack, going with Marlon Mack. I answered that question from Gavin. Garfield, 78-211. Thanks for your donation. Really appreciate your support. Will Fuller, Mike Williams, Cup, which 2? Pick, please. I will go with Will Fuller and Cup. Man, I have a hard time buying into Mike Williams. I think Hunter Henry is going to have a huge week. Jimmy G and Kittle or Matt Ryan and Ridley. Frank, thanks so much for your support, Frank. I am going to go with Jimmy G and Kittle. Josh, appreciate your support, my man. Diggs, Fitzgerald, D.D. Fuller, or Tyrell Williams in a half-point PPR. I am going to go with Tyrell Williams, and I will go with Diggs still. Would you trade James White for Hunter Henry? It depends, Eric. That's really going to be a roster-dependent question, my man. It really is. I probably would. Unless you have, like, Kittle or Ingram or Kelsey already. James White, I think, is about ready to take a huge, massive hit in value. So I'm okay making that deal if that's the case. All right, people, let me get caught back up on the chat here real quick. Lots of questions. Appreciate it from everybody. Josh Allen plus 300 today. It's possible, but that is still going to be a tough defense. I don't think he throws for more than 300 yards, though. I'd be surprised if he goes over 300. Definitely 2. He'll be in that 2 range for sure, though. Sanders or Murray. I'll run with Sanders. Tyrell Williams, Geis, or DJ Moore. It's really hard not to pick Tyrell Williams now, but I'm going to go with DJ Moore over him. PPR, Cooks or Godwin, still going with Godwin. Jacobs or Michelle Jacobs. Landry or Shepard. If it's PPR, I'll go Landry. If it's anything other, I'll go Shepard. Standard, pick 1. DD, Fuller, Watkins. Hit that like button. Of course, hit that like button. I don't know how many likes we have right now, but appreciate any likes. And also, if you're watching and you have not subscribed to the Fantasy Headliners, would really appreciate you hitting that subscribe button. Make sure you let us know in the chat. Everyone in the chat, if you see someone that said that they just subscribed to the channel, make sure you welcome them to Headliner Nation. Landry or Shepard, I just answered that one. Standard pick one, D.D. Fuller or Watkins. I'll go with D.D. Calvin Ridley or Mike Williams. Calvin Ridley. Austin Eckler or Joe Mixon. Still going with Joe Mixon this week. Vacay Josh, thanks for it. Thanks for your support, my man. Jackson or Watson. Standard 6. Watson. Lamar Jackson is my QB3. Watson's my QB1 this week. So, yeah, run with Watson still. Eckler or Coleman in the flex. Thanks so much for the support, Arnie. Going to go with Eckler. D.D. Westbrook or Moncrief. D.D. Westbrook. Duke or Ingram. I'm going to roll with Duke still this week. Allison or Anthony Miller droppable. No. I would hold on to Anthony Miller first over Geronimo Allison, but I don't like overreacting to week one. I just don't. Things can be weird in week one. A lot of players may or may not have played it all in the preseason. Maybe it takes a little bit to get going. I don't want to overreact too much, people. So let's just stay calm. Let's roll with it. Let's see what happens. Keep an eye on the waiver wire show. Again, the waiver wire show will be out tomorrow morning. Check that. If I have any recommendations on there that you feel are a much better fit for your team, then move forward with it. But for now, just wait. Elk or deer? I like venison, so definitely I'd go with deer there. Or maybe you're just asking me which animal I like better. An elk is much more majestic. We'll say that. Galladay or Cup in a PPR? I'll run with Galladay. Howard or Walker in the flex? I'm assuming you mean Waller, Steven. I'm going to run with OJ Howard. Diggs or Boyd in a PPR? I'm still going to put Diggs out there. Moncrief or Crowder in a full PPR? LOL. Who gave you a thumbs down? Who's out there thumbs down? It's probably the guy that I put in timeout for saying I was annoying. Man, I honestly... I really like Crowder, but I'll run with Moncrief still this week. Moving forward, though, don't worry, though. We're going to have plenty of Jameson Crowder to talk about as the season goes on. Carlos, appreciate it. Waller over... Delaney Walker. Maybe that was a question. Still, though, if you've asked about Delaney Walker and I've confused it with Waller, more than likely it was the other answer. Buffalo D. I don't mind the Buffalo D this week. I think they are in for a pretty decent week. I do not see the Jets lighting them up. And Waller over Walker, yes, I'll go Waller over Walker this week. No problem, Cowboy. Appreciate your question. Hooper or Hawkinson this week? I will run with Hooper this week. What are your expectations for Freeman? Royce or Devontae? Because if it's Devontae, then big time. Love it. Absolutely love him this week. If we are talking about Royce Freeman, I'm hoping for the best, and that's a split workload with him seeing a majority of the carries. Is Jameis a QB1 this week? Yes, he is. Browns, Chargers, or Cowboys defense? Going to roll with the Cowboys still this week. Let me take a look here. Eric, appreciate your support, my man. Dede or Jacobs in PPR will still run with Jacobs. I think he gets a decent workload this week. Closing in on 7 minutes till kickoff. Ladies and gentlemen, we are almost there. We've almost made it. So we're closing in on kickoff. Let's get a few more of these questions in. If I did not get to your question today, I'm so sorry. But keep in mind that there's a possibility that we'll do up to 3 live shows a week, and we try to answer as many questions on YouTube as possible. If you haven't noticed, though, we've grown quite a bit from last year. So it's definitely making things more challenging this week. Dak or Ryan? I'm going with Ryan. Half PPR, Tevin Coleman or Josh Gordon for the flex? Going with Josh Gordon. Brown or Sterling Shepard? I'll run with Sterling Shepard. In PPR, Brown and anything less. Josh Gordon or Marvin Jones? Josh Gordon. Josh Gordon or Marvin Jones? Same question back to back from 2 different people. Josh Gordon. Wentz or Murray in standard? Standard doesn't matter, so it doesn't matter to your QB. I'm going to go with, I have Murray just a smidge over Wentz this week. Dak or Carson Wentz in a PPR. Again, people, that doesn't matter if it's PPR standard. Quarterback does not matter. The scoring doesn't change at all. I'm going to go with, I'll go with Wentz over Dak this week. PPR flex, Jarvis, Duke, or Alshon. Going to go with Duke. Eckler or Jordan Howard, go with Eckler. Jonathan Nixon, my man, I appreciate Appreciate your support. Thanks so much for the donation. Evans, Cooper, Hilton, Ridley, or Watkins. Pick 3. Evans, Cooper. I'll still go with Hilton over Ridley. Pick 3 of them. Got them. So Ingram or Henry this week. Henry this week. Hopkins, Allen's, Cook, Godwin, Westbrook. Pick 3. Okay, I did. For those 3, I will do, again, Hopkins, Allen, and Godwin, and I will pick all 3 of those guys. Switch Michelle. No, run with it. Only about 5 more minutes. Let's do Mike Evans or Cortland Sutton. Mike Evans. Dak or Cam. Go with Cam. Landry or Kirk. Landry. Wilson or Jackson. Jackson. Latavius Murray, Justice Hill or Royce. Justice Hill. Lockett. Cooks, Dede, and a standard. Lockett and Cooks. Half PPR, Josh Gordon or DJ Moore. Josh Gordon. Amari or Devonta Freeman in the flex. Go with Devonta Freeman. Delaney Walker or Trey Burton as a backup tight end. Go with Delaney Walker. What should I drop? Drop Trey Burton. I've got no interest in owning him. Marlon Mack, LaShawn McCoy, or Darius Geis. Marlon Mack. Derrick Henry versus Penny versus Tyrell Williams. Derrick Henry for me. Kyler or Rivers, going to go with Kyler. Half PPR, Josh Gordon or DJ Moore. Josh Gordon. Eckler or Josh Jacobs, I will go with Eckler. Mike Williams or Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs. Marlon Mack or James White. Marlon Mack. Matt Ryan or Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson. Diggs or Justice Hill for the flex. I'm still going to roll with Diggs there. Wentz or Jackson. Boyd, Watkins or Jeffrey. Pick 2, Watkins and Boyd. Mack or Jarvis. Mack. Kyler or Rivers. Kyler. Jordan or Mike Williams. I'll go with Mike Williams over Jordan Howard. Diggs or Landry. Actually, no, scratch that. I'm going to go with Jordan Howard this week. Hunter Henry or Evan Ingram. Hunter Henry. Marvin Jones or Edelman. Edelman. Njoku or McDonald. Murray or Goff. Shepard or Mike Williams is my flex. Shepard. James White or Marlon Mack. Mack or Jarvis. Mack. Should you try to trade Damian Williams? Yes, I would. Standard. Diggs or Ridley. Still trying to put Diggs in my lineup. Landry or Coleman in half PPR. I'll run with Landry. Diggs or Ridley. Still going to go with Diggs there. Cam or Lamar. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. Kyle. Watkins or Diggs. Still trying to run Diggs out there. Diggs or Ridley. So many Diggs questions, people. Marlon Mack as well. I saw there another Marlon Mack question there. Justin Jackson or LaShawn McCoy. Justin Jackson. Will Fuller or Sonny Michel. Sonny Michel. Shepard or Mike Williams. Shepard. Pettis or Moncrief. Pettis. Darius Geis or Breida. Gonna go with Geis. Mack or Galladay. Mack. Henry Eckler or Ingram. What 2 should you pick? I would go Eckler and Henry for me this week. Evan Ingram breakout year? Yes, 100%. Matt Ryan or Lamar Jackson? Lamar Jackson. Henry Eckler or Ingram? Already answered that question. Drake or Jacobs? Go with Jacobs. Cousins or Goff? Go with Goff. Hilton or Jarvis Landry in half PPR? Go with Jarvis Landry. Mack or Marvin Jones or Calvin Ridley? I'll go with Marvin Jones over Ridley. You're awesome, Kyle. Thanks so much. Nope, thank you. Mike Williams or James White in a full PPR? James White. Tom Brady or Lamar Jackson? Lamar Jackson. Michelle Eckler or Howard? I'll go with Howard and Eckler this week. Cooper Kupp or Will Fuller. If it's standard, Fuller. If it's PPR, Cooper Kupp. Josh Gordon or Dede Westbrook. Josh Gordon. Marvin Jones or Calvin Ridley. Marvin Jones. Andrews or Njoku. I will go with Andrews this week. Godwin or Diggs. Godwin. Breida, Gore or Justice Hill. Breida. Trade 8B and Godwin for Odell Beckham. No. Hold tight. Mike Williams or T.Y. Hilton. I will still run with T.Y. Hilton this week. Galladay or Godwin. Still going to go with Godwin. Godwin or Geis. Going with Godwin. Breida, Gore or Justice Hill, going with Breida. T.Y. Hilton or Godwin, going with Godwin. Duke or Ingram, go with Duke. Walker or Waller, I'm going with Waller. Mike Williams or Hilton, I'm going with Hilton. Moore, Kirk, or Pettis in a standard and PPR, I'm going with Moore this week. Godwin or Diggs, going with Godwin. Dede or Ridley, I'll go with, tough one, but I'll go with Dede over Ridley. Gallup or Aguilar and a half PPR, I'll go with Gallup. Hopefully he finds the end zone. Ridley or Edelman, going with Edelman. I've answered the Walker or Waller question several times. Waller or Hooper, I'll go with Waller. Kyler or Winston, I'll go with Winston. Ridley or Diggs, still going to go with Diggs. Thanks, Kyle. Good luck, everyone. Thank you, Aaron. Let me double check here real quick. Nothing there. We are about, it's 1 o'clock. Lineups or set, people. We've done it. We're finally there. It is here. Time to let it roll. Time to let it flow. It's that time. Week 1. Week 1 is here. Breaking news. Breaking news out of Miami Dolphins camp. Kalen Ballage announced as the starting running back, despite what Dolphins' initial depth chart said. He said that role he's had that role for most of training camp. Expect plenty of both. Okay, so definitely we'll see what happens there. Diego Boyd, Drake, Jones Jr. pick 2. Boyd and Jones Jr. after that information just popped up there. Oh boy! All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much. Really appreciate everybody tuning in today. It was a blast. Loved it. Again, don't forget the fantasyheadliners.com. Tons of written content going up all season long. Jason, I apologize I didn't answer your question. Keep it coming. Lots of questions coming through. If I don't get to yours, it's nothing against you people. Honestly, I apologize if I didn't get to it. We want to answer as many questions as we can. It's impossible now. It's absolutely impossible to answer as many questions as we can. But Jason, thank you so much for still tuning in and not being upset with me over it. I really do appreciate that. But make sure you check out the videos as well. We have videos on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Videos all week long. Our main live show we're streaming on Saturday nights. So make sure Saturday nights at 9 o'clock you're here for that. I'll try to do as many Sunday morning streams as I possibly can as well. We're gonna maybe try to stream on Thursday. We're not gonna stream on Thursday next week though, so don't anticipate that. But ladies and gentlemen, that's it. That's it for the show. I'm gonna go ahead. I am going to get out of here. Got some football to watch. Got to help clean up the house a little bit. It's a little messy. We dealt with some sickness this week, so got to clean up the house. I also have to go get new work shirts. I have to go get some new dress apparel for today. So I've got a lot to do. But I've got a waiver wire article I got to write tonight. I got a waiver wire video I got to record tonight that will be out tomorrow morning. So much going on, people. Thanks so much for tuning in. Really appreciate you, Headliner Nation. Over 57,000 subscribers long. It's hard, subscribers strong. It's hard to even fathom that we would be here right now, and we can't do it without you. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here today, for being on the live show last night, for watching the content all season long, all week long. Appreciate it very much. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at FNTSY for Jake, at KRich1532 for myself. Get the DFS package. Make sure you do that if you want to play some DFS and win this year. All right. And we'll see you on the next live show, and we will see you on the next video. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great weekend. Best of luck. We'll see you later. Thanks so much, everyone.